World Champions of Baseball.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Now entering the game for Philly Pressbox Radio, Bill Furman and Jim Chet Chesko.
It's Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. Welcome to the Philly Pressbox Radio Roundtable, brought to you by the Irish Rover Station House in Langhorne, PA, Cavs, Philly, Tailgates, and the STT Sports Network. I'm Bill Furman. I'll be your host tonight, along with my partner, Jim Chet Chesko. And Chet, you hear that faraway sound in the background?
Oh, I do, Bill. I do. I hear. Listen. Yeah.
It's pitchers and catchers in 76-degree Clearwater today, Chad. Bet you'd like to have some of that 76 degrees.
Yeah. Let me tell you something right now, Bill. We got up to 44 degrees today, and it felt like summer after what we've been through the last few weeks.
I saw the shorts and the barbecue grills going up there.
Yeah. After those single-digit temps over the last few weeks, yeah, I am so over winter this year. Did I mention that I hate cold weather?
You haven't yet tonight, but you have now. Hey, the Eagles have a new O-line coach. The Sixers are still in sixth place in the Eastern Conference. The Flyers are on a much-needed Olympic break. And as usual, we have plenty to talk about in Philly sports.
Yeah, that we do, Bill. A little quieter than usual with football season now completely over in terms of the actual, games on the field anyway. But, hey, we do have Phillies and we have Sixers and, Flyers on the break. We're going to get to all of that tonight and maybe even a random Chet too, because we got the time.
I heard that rumor there could be a random Chet. As long as it's not those goofy Grammys and Oscars, we're good with whatever else you got.
Well,
I got the mute button on my control panel. So, hey, with that said, we got a great guest returning tonight at NBC Sports Sixers insider Fadool to talk all things Sixers.
Yeah, it took some begging, but I did convince Amy to make a return visit to our show. She does such a great job on Sixers pre and post game live, and I wanted to make sure to get her back on the show because it's been a full year since we had her on last time.
Yeah, well, we'll be looking forward to hearing about her or hearing from her shortly. But hurry, first, let's get started with your Philadelphia Phillies pitchers and catchers that we said reported to Clearwater with a full team reporting next Monday. Many of them are already in town. Chet, the first question of the baseball season goes to you. Are you excited about this 2026 Phillies team as spring training gets rolling?
Well, I got to be honest. I'm not as excited as I was the past 3 springs, and I have a hunch that a lot of people feel that same way, based on what you see on social media, you hear on people, calling in on talk radio in Philly. That being said, spring is always a welcome time for baseball because, it is like a new beginning and you don't know what to expect. And, even though the team on paper may be not quite as good as the prior year, there's always hope that, some guys will come through and surprise you. Young guys will step up. I'm going to take a positive outlook, even though I got to be honest, I'm not quite as excited as normal.
No, and I agree with you. I'm kind of in the same position. I think, we have to start with what's going on with Nick Castellanos. It looks like all indications are he's not really invited when the team gets here this weekend. And if so, I can't believe the way they handled this thing actually with Dave Dombrowski. He basically said from the start he didn't want him back, which diminished any trade value he might have had.
Yeah.
And now what they're looking at is they cut him. The Phillies eat the $20 million, and whoever takes him pays the veteran's minimum salary, and Castellanos gets his $20 million, and the Phillies get 0.
Yeah, so whoever takes him will pay the $700,000 or whatever it is for the minimum. And like you said, the Phillies are left holding the rest of the bag, and they have signaled that they don't want him back. So yeah, nobody's going to want to make a trade, give up a quality prospect or even a bunch of baseball draft picks, which aren't worth a whole bunch. They're just going to wait it out, knowing that he's going to be released in less than a week, probably anyway. So yeah, Dave could have done a better job handling this, but oh well.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't get it. But with that, I guess maybe, not having Castellanos to me is important because he has done some good things over his time here. But probably more important right now is the pitching staff. It looks like Zach Wheeler is not going to be ready opening day. And, of course, Ranger Suarez is gone. So already, now, you can come out of spring training usually a starter short anyway because the way the early schedule is usually set up. They're 2 starters short as we start right now.
Yeah, they are. And, they're penciling in Andrew Painter. Nobody knows what to expect from him, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting spring. It's going to be an interesting start to the season as we watch for Zach Wheeler. We did find out the other day that, as you said, he won't be ready for opening day, but according to Rob Thompson, he shouldn't be much beyond that. Speaking of all that, on Monday, both Dave Dombrowski and Rob Thompson did a little Q&A session with the media via Zoom, with Dombrowski saying that he does not expect Castellanos to be a Philly by sometime next week, as you noted, and Topper again taking some issue with the view that the Phillies are running it back. He also expressed a surprising degree of optimism, more so than you and me, about this year's club, despite the rotation looking a little different and no major offseason acquisitions. Here's Topper.
We can't forget that we won 96 games last year, and we got a really good club, and we're going to turn over probably 20 to 25% of our roster, and that's not including having Duran for the entire year. But I like the improvements we've made to our bullpen. We got a new right fielder. We're going to inject, hopefully, some youth into our team, the Crawfords of the world, and the Painters of the world, and Otto Kemp. Miller's not far away. I'm really excited about it. I'm more excited about it this year than I was last year because I think we're better this year on this day this year than we were on the same day a year ago.
Bill, your thoughts?
I cannot agree. I just can't agree. I mean, Duran should certainly help with that. So we're not maybe right from the start doing bullpen by committee. Maybe that is helpful. Trading the lefty to Kansas City,
Matt
Strom. That's a setback. And they're going to hang their hat on Alvarado and Kirkring, and I'm just not hanging my hat on those guys.
Well, our buddy Phil Stifle posted something about what Topper said yesterday, saying, this guy may need a cognitive test.
Yeah, right.
And I said to him, what do you want Topper to say? Well, I know we're not as good as last year, but, we're a little bit older. We lost a couple of pitchers. One guy's not going to be ready. Nobody knows how good this new right fielder is going to be. But you know what? Maybe we'll get lucky. Really, what do you want Topper to say? He's got to take that optimistic approach. It's coach speak.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, you could take a quick look really around the lineup and you say, okay, the 5 infielders are the same. The 4 infielders and the catcher are the same guys you had last year. They're a year older. Maybe Stott is better. It's about time Stott gets better. Bohm is Bohm, I think. We know what we have there. What do you going to get a full season out of Harper, and can he be elite again, as Dombrowski says? And Turner won a batting title is at 301, but it was a batting title nonetheless. So you have what you have there. The outfield is a bit troubling, though.
And, I agree with Joe Howe for a change, and that kind of scares me. But, yeah.
You're right. Yeah, and I don't know. I think the bullpen is not as good. The starters are not as good, and the outfield is not as good. And, again, I'm with you. Topper's got to say what he's got to say, but, they did run it back.
Yeah, Robbie said the same thing. You can't come out and say, yeah, we probably suck. You just can't. So
no,
you just got to hope for the best and have faith in your guys.
they do have a decent team. They're not going to win 96 games with this team with the changes they made, but they could certainly still win 86, 88. So, they could still win games. But that's where you have to have Wheeler back, and Sanchez has to be as good as he was, and not having Ranger, is going to be a big deal as well.
As I noted last week, the over-under right now is 90.5, 90 and a half wins. They won 96 last year. I think most of the odds makers have the Phillies and the Mets dead even in terms of the chances to win the National League East. So not a bad team, but yeah, I don't know if they're going to get to 90 wins this year.
Yeah, there's Ken, 84-78, no playoffs in his prediction. And, Ken's another guy who's a diehard Philly fan that he's seeing the reality that we think we're seeing.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, and they have to hope Crawford works out. They have to hope Painter is finally ready to be a big league pitcher. That's going to be huge. And, of course, you got to hope Zach Wheeler is the Zach Wheeler that we've come to know and love over the last 5 years.
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't know that we can really expect that. So we'll see. I think I did see again where they're also looking at possibly making a spring training trade, if I got that out right, spring training trade, for another pitcher. But who are you trading? You can't trade any of that bunch we just talked about, right?
And they don't have a whole high prospects, so.
Yeah,
not Aiden Miller, I don't think. No,
you're not trading Miller, and they have a couple guys down there in the minor leagues that they like. But are you trading them if you're going to get a 5, or a 4 or 5 starter? Have to see.
I did hear today they're going to play Aiden Miller a lot this spring at third, short, and a little bit at second also. So he's ready for any of those positions. Maybe in case they trade a Bohm or a Stott. So that'll be interesting to watch his progress, Aiden Miller.
Yeah. And, it's interesting to me. You got to take a guy like Bohm, as we said, he is what he is. He's a decent player. Maybe he hasn't lived up to what people thought he would be, but he's a decent player, solid. Sure. But every year when you're sitting there the whole offseason and you're getting moved, they're shopping you for somebody. That can't be easy to come to work in spring training, knowing that you're looking over your shoulder all the time.
Yeah, this is the third winter in a row that's come up, especially last winter and now this winter. They were talking about a potential Bohm trade, but here we are. Camp is opening, and Bohm's expected to be there any day now.
Yeah, well, and see, that's all just for Joe, because Joe gets the, he's getting his Bohm out today.
There it is.
There
it is.
Yeah. So
Joe, get back to your packing for your big move. Leave us alone.
We'll be hearing that for about the next 35 weeks, I think. But there we are. Looking forward to it. We'll see how it plays out. Good to have baseball, and one day closer to spring, Chet.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, the Flyers struggled their way into the much-needed Olympic break, not returning until February 25th. Quite a break for the Olympics. They have a long climb ahead of them, Chet, to make the playoff push with just 26 games left. That string of losses is just brutal for them.
Boy, you got that right. You know what, Bill? I actually took a little deep dive into the situation, and here's how it looks. As you said, the Flyers have 26 games remaining, which is a smidge less than a third of the season. And if you look at the standings, you'll see that, right now the Flyers sit 13th in the East because, the top 3 teams in each of the 2 divisions in the East make the playoffs, and then a 7th and 8th team as wild card teams. Right now, the Bruins would be the 8th seed with 69 points. The Flyers stand at 61, so they're 8 points back of the Bruins with a game in hand, so not insurmountable, but you also got to consider there are 4 other teams in between them. So it ain't going to be easy. In addition, they have a mid-March 3-game West Coast trip, and 14 of their last 26 games will be road games. So it's a challenge.
Yeah, and right off the bat, that February 25th game is against Washington, who you saw there in your standings. They're all must-win games because that's kind of a 4-point swing. If they lose that and the Capitals win, Capitals gain 2 more points, that's all the tougher it is to catch them. So every game of the 26 games is going to be really critical, and they're going to have to play far, far better than we saw them play before the break.
They got to hope Dan Vladar stays healthy and plays well in goal. They got to hope that nobody else has any major injuries. Some of the young guys continue to develop. Mishkov, hopefully will pick up his play a little bit because he's been in everybody's eyesight all season. People watching him, wondering why he doesn't seem like he's taken any steps forward from last year. So a lot to watch, certainly, over these final 26 games.
Yeah, and I'm wondering at what point. I don't think they're going to trade much away. I don't know who they have to really trade away if it came to it, but I think we might see some more youngsters get in the lineup, and they've been peppering guys in there throughout. As it is, I think we're going to see more of it.
Yeah, and it makes sense because they know they're not going to win the cup this year. Even if they somehow sneak into the playoffs, they're probably, one round, two at the most, and done. So, get some of these young guys playing time, see what they have to offer, and then, hopefully next year you really make the big move, maybe an offseason acquisition too.
Right, absolutely. They need that sniper. We talked about that last week or the week before. You got to have that guy that you can depend on. It's going to score a bunch of goals for them, and they haven't had that. Claude Giroux was kind of that, but it's been a long time. And I think it was you and PJ and I were having a little text discussion. I got to do this homework. I haven't had time. I want to see what the Flyers' record is since they traded Mike Richards and Jeff Carter on that dreadful day that seems like, 10 or 12 years ago now.
Yeah.
And the Flyers, quite frankly, haven't been any good since.
Yeah, they really haven't made the playoffs in 5 years or something like that. And it's got to turn around at some point, Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to be smart. Got to make good moves.
Yep.
All right, Chad. Philly Pressbox Radio is part of the STT Sports Network, as in Set the Trends. It's a network set up by our pal, as you mentioned, Phil Stiefel, host of the terrific Trending in the AM show that you can find every weekday morning on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Check out Phil. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Phil's show is on there, and so is ours. Yep, you can find Philly Pressbox Radio there, in addition to on our own YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Again, it's the STT Sports Network setting the trends for what sports talk should be.
And, Bill, there is a rumor that I will be a guest on Phil's show next Wednesday morning at about 8:30. So,
okay.
Yeah, Phil's cranking out his show every day. He's got some great guests coming up. And some days he can't get a great guest.
Well, I thought you said you were going to be a guest.
Yeah, I'm the fill-in for the.
But then you said great guest.
He's got great guests on, I think, Friday and Monday, and he's got me on Wednesday.
There you go. Glad you clarified that.
Absolutely.
Good stuff. Phil does a great job. I'm sure you'll have fun with him. And
yep.
Always entertaining, that's for sure. All right, Chet. New Year's here. We're in cold February. What is going on at the Irish Rover Station House to keep your bones warm?
Well, always a great time at the Irish Rover Station House. They're in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, by the way. Terrific food, plus 24 beers on tap. Killer Burger Thursdays. And they have happy hour specials, too, plus live music most weekends. Now, this weekend is not only Valentine's Day. No, sirree. It is also Galentine's weekend. So what that means, they will have special shareable menu items. They have special cocktails and music Saturday night, courtesy Ty Kingsley. All of that and more at the Irish Rover Station House on Bellevue Avenue in Langhorne. You can find them on the web at irishroverstationhouse.com.
Hey, everybody, this is David Ossikin, the drummer of the Hooters. You're watching Bill and Chet on Philly Pressbox Radio. Go Phillies. Go Birds. I'll see you at the concert.
And happy
Bill,
birthday.
I was just going to say, David Wasikin of the Hooters is celebrating his 70th birthday today. He's doing so with his lovely wife, Dallin, down in Delray Beach, Florida. So enjoying the good life. A little warmer down there than it is here, which is very nice. Speaking of birthdays, Bill, our pal Freddie Burns has a birthday today also. He's finally in his 40s. I think he's 41 now. So he's catching up to us. And you mentioned Mike Richards. Mike Richards is the exact same age as Freddie Burns. They are both 41 today. A couple other birthdays early this week. Former Phils John Kruk and Lenny Dykstra turned 65 and 63, respectively. I'll keep my comments to myself about nails. And Bill, the Eagles' Cooper DeJean had a birthday on Monday. You know how old Cooper DeJean is?
Is he 23 or 24, right?
23. 23, Bill.
He's leading a pretty good life right now, Chet.
Oh, my goodness. 2 years in the league already.
He's got a lot of things going his way.
Wow. Must
Good
be
for
nice.
him. Wait, Chet, you had a chance to visit. Whoa.
Oh, no, we're not doing Random Chet. What am I doing? Yeah, we got to go do our interview. That's right.
Yeah, you're just too.
I got ahead of myself.
Wait, you had a chance to visit with NBC Sports Philadelphia Sixer insider Amy Fadool to talk the state of the Sixers. I'm real interested to get Amy's take on this team, Chet. They seem in flux to me again. It's that Embiid thing again that makes me crazy.
Well, they've had their ups and downs, certainly. And even though the game is on ESPN this evening, Amy is working while the Sixers host the Knicks in the final game before the All-Star break. And, we talked this afternoon about Joel Embiid and the fact that he's playing so well and has been relatively healthy. Well, guess what? He's not in the lineup tonight for the second straight game. Right knee swelling over the weekend. So as a precaution, they are keeping him out and will rest him over the All-Star break. And that's a shame.
Injury management.
Yeah, but no, he actually had some swelling this time in the knee. So that's a bummer because this is a big game against the Knicks. You want to make a little inroads. You want to win the season series against the Knicks because they are up 2-1 on the Knicks. So it's a bummer that he is not in the lineup tonight. Anyway, all that being said, great conversation with Amy, and here it is. Very happy to have this talented broadcaster make a return visit to Philly Pressbox Radio. You know her from NBC Sports Philadelphia. It's Amy Fadool. Amy, welcome back.
Chet, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be back.
Hey, first thing, I know you weren't in Philly in 2001, but a week and a half or so ago, you and your NBC Sports Philly crew did a great job celebrating the 0-1 conference champion Philadelphia 76ers. There you are with Allen Iverson. Man, what a great team that was, and what a fun broadcast.
Honestly, that was one of the more entertaining and exciting nights I've had in my 17 years here in Philadelphia. Celebrating that team was so much fun. It's such a team that really resonates with so many people here in Philadelphia. The blue-collar work ethic. Yes, they had the star in Allen Iverson, but there was a lot of guys that really contributed in that successful run all the way to the NBA Finals. And no, they didn't win it all, but it's a fun team, a hard-working team, and a team that deserved to be celebrated. So it was great. It's great. Those guys, they all talked about seeing the uniforms back out there and the court back out there, and they just had a lot of fun. And it was obviously talking to Allen Iverson and Billy King and George Lynch and Pat Croce. We got to really have a fun walk down memory lane.
Absolutely. Okay, regarding the current Sixers, man, this season is a whole lot better than what we went through last year when they won just 24 games. As we speak, they're 30-23, sixth place in the Eastern Conference. What has been the biggest surprise so far this season?
Joel Embiid. And I don't mean the fact that, he's playing at a high level as much as I mean that he's playing at the high level. Both of those things can be true. Listen, you knew that he was going to be able to come back. You did not know what he was going to look like. In the beginning of the season, when he was still working his way back, you thought, okay, well, this is it. And it was still a very good version of a basketball player, but it wasn't the best version of Joel Embiid. And you thought, okay, well, here's a guy that's going to get you, 16 to 18 points, grab a couple of boards and, be out there and be a physical presence. And the tear that he's been on, certainly since January 1st, has been remarkable.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, you can see since January 1st, he's the fifth leading scorer in the NBA behind guys like Luka Doncic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Anthony Edwards. He's putting up incredible numbers. He is a force inside and outside, and he's scoring in the low post area and in that 10 to 12 foot area more than we've seen certainly the last couple of years. He's getting up and down the court. And to me, that's been one of the biggest and most pleasant surprises. I knew that he was going to be able to be out there and playing basketball. You just weren't sure what level, and now he's being a 30-point scorer, and it's so much fun to see. It's fun to see the rest of the team enjoy playing with a high-level Joel Embiid, and it's fun to see him enjoying it as well.
Yeah, well, you are a Kentucky alum, of course, and we talked last year about how much you enjoy watching Tyrese Maxey continue his development. Man, he's been terrific, of course, a first-time all-star starter, but he's also leading the league in playing nearly 39 minutes a game. I know he's just 25, but is that a concern maybe about him getting worn down?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there is a little bit of that. You worry about how much, you could put on his plate and how on his shoulders, so to speak, because of those. I mean, he's clipped back a little bit. He was closer to 40 minutes, so now he's a minute under, but he's clear of anybody else in that, spitting distance as far as how many minutes he's playing. His usage rate is extremely high. I know he enjoys that. He wants
Very happy.
concern there, especially when you get into April, because that will have a lot of minutes on him at that point, and you want the Sixers to be as healthy and as ready to go when it comes to the playoffs. That's the whole goal. It's always been the goal for them. The regular season is all fine and well, but it's all about the playoffs. So there is a little bit of concern. I'm sure that they're going to pick up somebody, whether it's on the buyout market or some of these contracts that they can sign right now, whether they're 10-day contracts or two-way contracts. So it'll be interesting to see. But I imagine that they're going to pick up a guard to help out and carry some of the load, at least coming off the bench.
You mentioned Jared McCain. A lot of Sixers fans were a bit ticked off about last week's trade of the second-year guard to OKC. We heard Daryl Morey's explanation, how he was hoping to turn the picks into another player, but it didn't pan out. Is that deal, you think, going to come back to haunt them either, this season or in the future?
Yeah, I'm always a little wary when you're trading with a team like Oklahoma City Thunder, because they rarely miss. They've made some excellent moves in their young, existence as an Oklahoma City franchise, and they've stockpiled picks like it's going out of style, and they find a lot of players that have turned out to be very good players. You don't have to go much further to look back on that it was a signing of Isaiah Joe, who was a Sixer, and he's turned out to be a really nice player for them. So there is a little bit of concern that it could come back to bite you. I understand that the thought process behind it. You're trying to get something to help right now, and Jared McCain just wasn't performing right now. But I do wonder if you sold maybe a little too early on him, given the fact that he's coming back from a knee injury and the thumb injury that happened right before the season. I mean, that was literally weeks before the season started. So I thought that he was going to be rounding into form. He's a guy that I think has a very high ceiling. The one issue with Jared McCain is his size, his length. He's just not the longest defender out there. He still works very hard on the defensive end. So I think that they thought maybe they could go out and find a longer guard, like a VJ Edgecombe type, to pair with Quentin Grimes and Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. So I hope that it opened their eyes to the need that they have in the offseason. It seemed like it was a move that you could have waited if you needed to, given the fact that you don't have anybody really else helping out on the bench besides Quentin Grimes at the guard position. So yeah, I'm definitely like a TBD on that, but it always makes me wary when you trade with a team that's had such success like the Thunder have.
Well, you mentioned VJ. How good is this rookie already, and what is his upside?
He's so good. And honestly, that is tied to the Jared McCain trade. I think that when VJ Edgecombe burst onto the scene, in October and November, and you thought, wow, I think they thought this kid was going to be good. I don't know that they thought he was going to be this good this early and contributing in the ways. Yes, sometimes it doesn't show up in the box score, but he's always affecting the game. So I think that made, unfortunately, Jared McCain a little bit expendable, or at least a piece that they thought they could turn into something else. But he's the real deal. He works very hard. He's an excellent defender. He's usually tasked with defending some of the better players on the other team. And his three-point shot's good. He's had a couple of games where he's had rough shooting nights, but the thing I really like about VJ Edgecombe is that he still shoots. Yes, he might not hit them all, but you're never going to see him come away, or rarely you're going to see him come away with a 1-for-4 night. He might be 2-for-13, but he's going to get the shots up. And I think speaks to a lot of the confidence he has in his game and what the coaches believe in him, as well as his teammates. So I think that his upside is really big.
All right, for the heck of it, let's assume Paul George comes back from suspension in April. Joel Embiid, 85, 90% healthy. I'll take that. Can this Sixers team actually make a postseason run? Give me some hope, Amy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you look at the East and what the other teams in the East did at the deadline, and I don't think anybody was blown away. Yes, the Cavaliers signed James Harden, and that's going to help them offensively. There's still only one basketball in Cleveland, and they're two ball-dominant guards. It's worked the first couple of games. James Harden is a tremendous player. He's a top 75 player of all time. I don't know that that's going to I don't look at Cleveland and think, wow, they're automatically in the NBA Finals because of that move. I think the biggest one is going to be the Celtics getting Jason Tatum back. He was activated. That's a problem. They got Nick Vucevic, who is a very good post player for them. That'll be the team that's going to probably make a little noise for me that I wouldn't expect, because they've been kind of hanging out just outside that 1-2 spot. It's been basically the Pistons and the Knicks, and now you're seeing the Celtics come up there and vie for that 2 spot. The Pistons are going away with it, but you don't look at any team and think, wow, if the Sixers put together a good run, they can take down I think they could take down any of the teams that I see above them. If you said it's true, obviously you need a very healthy Joel Embiid, and you need a Paul George in there. He'll come back with 10 games to go. Hopefully that's enough runway to kind of get him back acclimated. It was one of those things when that suspension came down, everybody just shook their heads like, of course, we can't have nice things here in Philadelphia. We're trying to have one nice thing, and that's a Sixers, postseason run. But hopefully with 10 games to go, he can come back, mesh himself in. I think they'll probably pick up another player on the buyout market to kind of flesh out that bench. And I could see them absolutely pushing some of the top teams. It's a big game against the Knicks. That'll be a good test. They've took 2 in Madison Square Garden. The Knicks, of course, took 1 here a couple of weeks ago. So this would be the deciding factor. But I think they can hang with anybody. Joel Embiid's averaging 30 points since January 1st. And there's no reason to think that that's not going to continue right now.
Amy, let me get your take on the Eagles. A disappointing end of the 2025 season and postseason for the Birds. It's only February, I know, but how much do the Eagles have to change things up under their new offensive coordinator, Sean Mannion?
Yeah, I think that there's going to be a lot of changes, unfortunately, coming. You saw some changes last year from winning the Super Bowl into this year. And that's what happens when you win. People leave, people get bigger contracts, coaches leave. But I think there's going to have to be a lot of adjustments. You already saw the departure of Jeff Stoutland, which I think is going to be really big. I know they hired a guy that people believe a lot in, the former Broncos offensive lineman. He's been an offensive line coach in Cooper. So it'll be interesting to see how much that changes the dynamic of the offensive line. That was one of the biggest problems or issues with the Eagles last year, was because they didn't have a healthy offensive line. When you have a healthy offensive line, you have a good run game, and the run game, of course, opens up the rest of your offense. I think that was one of the reasons, and I think some of the very conservative play calling wasn't the other reason. So I think there's going to have to be a lot of changes coming forward with the offense, and it'll be interesting to see how they adjust, because they need those guys to get healthy. They need Cam Jurgens to be healthy. They need Landon Dickerson to be healthy. Lane Johnson, is he coming back for a 14th season? All signs point to yes, but these are big question marks along the offensive line, which had been a stalwart and has been a stalwart for the Eagles during their playoff run. I mean, they've made the playoffs for 5 straight years, and the offensive line and their health is one of the biggest reasons. So I think there's a lot of changes coming, not just to personnel, but also to the style. You looked at how teams won in the playoffs, and the Eagles they didn't look like a team that was able to perform in the way that any of the teams did in the playoffs that made for successful runs, whether it was Seattle, the Patriots, you can go down to the Texans. It just wasn't a recipe for success. And I think that they need to take a good look in the mirror. And I'm sure that that's what they're doing right now, because they've got plenty of time, and really kind of adjust, not just tweaks like it was last year. It has to be a full 180 adjustment.
Last thing, Amy, speaking of the Eagles, do you remember how you spent Valentine's Day morning and afternoon a year ago this week?
Up very early, drove into the Wells Fargo Center, now the Xfinity Mobile Arena, and got on the subway up to my spot. And I saw some people at the subway at 8:45 in the morning, and they shared their MD 2020, aka Mad Dog, told me to take it up to the parade and share with the people, which is exactly what I did. I was live. We had our live broadcast. So obviously I was not consuming that, but I did share it after our broadcast. I went out and walked up and down Broad Street and shared it with a bunch of people. So it was a lot of fun. It was a great way to spend a day.
Folks, Amy did not drink the Mad Dog 2020
Correct.
while working, and that's her story anyway.
So I'm sticking to it.
Follow Amy Fadool on X and Instagram at Amy Fadool NBCS, and watch her, of course, on NBC Sports Philadelphia. Hard to believe you've been there 17 years, Amy. That is just amazing. Thank you for this sequel.
Thank you so much, Chet. Appreciate you.
There you go.
Great stuff from Amy as usual. But you know what? I'm just having trouble buying into the Embiid optimism. I just can't do it.
It's all we've got, Bill. It's all we've got. We got to have hope.
I just can't do it. I don't. Well, I mean, there's enough history, I guess, to why I can't do it.
Oh,
but,
of course.
You know, but as we've said many times before, he's a scoring machine when he's on the court. But
I put this up during the interview. Look at his last 10 games. He's averaging 33 points over his last 10 games. Even rebounds are up a little bit, 8.6. He's never been a terrific rebounder. 5.25 assists per game. He's shooting well. He's moving better than he was until these last couple of games. He played well over the weekend, and now he's sitting Monday and tonight. So it is
the big question. But the big question in them 10 games is how many did they win?
I think they were like 6-4.
I think they might have been closer to 4 and 6, or maybe over their last 12, they're 6 and 6, something like that. It's not great. I mean, for a guy putting up those kind of numbers, you would think they'd be winning a lot more games, and they're not. And that is where it troubles me.
I know they're 30-23, so they're well ahead of what most people thought they would be at this point in the season, and that's due in large part to the fact that Embiid has played the majority of the games, which, after last season, we will take that. If he can play 50 out of the 82 games this year, it's got to be close, and is reasonably healthy going into the playoffs, they got a shot. They're not going to win it all, but, I just want to see them get back to the playoffs and give us some hope for the future.
That would be good if they could get there. We'll see. I mean, they're in sixth place, even with all the chaos they've had around them. So they should make the playoffs, but they need to win a couple rounds.
Yeah, I think they're going to stay pretty much right where they are, 5th or 6th. I don't think they're going to fall down into the play-in 7 through 10 area. I think they're going to stay 5th or 6th, and then take their chances against either the 3rd or 4th seed in the opening round. And as Amy noted, the Celtics are going to get really good again because Jason Tatum, who most people thought would be out for the year, is coming back now.
Yeah.
Back from a pretty bad knee injury. So the Celtics managed to be good pretty much every year. I don't know how they do it. I wish we had their front office.
Yeah. We've had or luck with picks or skill with picks or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
All right. Bring that bell. Let's see what happens.
Should we do it?
I don't know. I have reservations.
Yeah. You know what?
But I'm on the mute button though. I'm on the mute button.
Okay. That birthday talk that we did a little while ago, that was kind of random. And now we're going to do another Random Chet because I like doing these things. They're fun. Bill, you can just leave the room again, make a bathroom trip, or just take a 6.5-minute nap if you want. This is one that you are going to dread. But for the rest of everybody watching, who knows? Some of them may actually enjoy it. So with that being said,
I'll consider myself warned.
Random Chet. Well, nominations for the 98th Academy Awards were unveiled last month, and I got to tell you, I think the Academy did an overall real good job with the nominations. People who don't go to the movies much will say there's nothing really good being made anymore, but you know what? I will counter that argument with this one. There's a lot of good films being made that maybe you just haven't become aware of. I'll tell you that I saw 93 movies released in 2025, 72 of them in theaters and the remaining 21 at home. I managed to see 9 of the 10 movies that received Best Picture nominations, and I enjoyed all 9 to varying degrees. More on my personal favorite films and performances in a minute. But first, I'll tell you that 2025 was another banner year for horror movies. Of the 93 flicks that I saw this past year, about a third of them, 29 or 30, would be considered to be in the horror genre in one way or another. Either true horror, psychological horror, survivor horror, sci-fi horror, whatever. Heck, Frankenstein and Sinners are both Best Picture nominees. If it were up to me to hand out the acting awards, well, as much as I enjoyed watching Amy Madigan as Aunt Gladys in Weapons, I'd have to give the Best Supporting Actress award to Teyana Taylor for her work in One Battle After Another. For Supporting Actor, as wonderful as Sean Penn was in One Battle, the award will likely deservingly go to Stellan Skarsgård in Sentimental Value. Not a lot of folks saw that one, which is a shame. All 5 lead actress nominees were terrific, but I'd probably throw my vote to Jessie Buckley in Hamnet. But really, all 5 of them were great. The favorite to win Best Actor, I believe, is Ethan Hawke in Blue Moon, but I won't get to see that one till this weekend when it hits Netflix. So for now, I'd have to choose either Michael B. Jordan for his dual role in Sinners or Timothée Chalamet in Marty Supreme. Let's go that way, Mr. Chalamet. I thought, in fact, he should have won last year's Best Actor award for how great a job he did as Bob Dylan in A Complete Unknown. I'm not really qualified to choose a Best Director winner, so I'm not even going to try, but I will tell you that all 5 of these movies were very well done. I did like all of them a lot. Okay, again, here are the movies that received Best Picture nominations this year. As noted, I saw 9 of the 10 listed, all of them except The Secret Agent. Really enjoyed all 9 that I did see, well, with one exception, maybe Train Dreams, which I thought was on the boring side. Okay, here's a list of my honorable mention and my 11th through 16th favorite movies of 2025. I can tell you that all of those in the honorable mention group got a B+ from me and were therefore, in my mind, worth checking out. Numbers 11 through 16, meanwhile, got an A- from me. Many of these listed are available to stream, so make a note and check them out when you do get the opportunity. Now, let's run down my top 10 favorites of 2025. At number 10, the Ryan Coogler film set in 1932 Mississippi that has Michael B. Jordan in 2 roles, twin brothers, the memorable slow-build horror film Sinners. 9th on my list, then, yeah, Timothée Chalamet is one hell of an actor. Here, he plays a table tennis prodigy and terrific self-promoter who's not without his faults. He's got the title role in Marty Supreme. In the 8th spot, based on a popular 2022 novel of the same name, it's The Housemaid. Amanda Seyfried and Sydney Sweeney are both fantastic in this erotic psychological thriller. You may still find that one in a theater near you. At number 7, then, the Little Scene family drama that I mentioned, Sentimental Value. It got 9 Oscar nominations, including 3 acting noms and a Best Picture nomination, for good reason. Coming in at number 6 on my list, the heavily nominated One Battle After Another. It's got a little bit of everything, that one, including some dark comedy. Check it out on HBO Max if you haven't seen it as yet. All right, let's move on to my 5 favorite films released in 2025. At number 5, it's a soulful comedy called Is This Thing On?, starring Will Arnett and Laura Dern as a couple who decide to amicably split, with the guy somehow ending up doing some stand-up comedy. It's really, really good. In the 4th spot, then, a film based on a long-ago novel by none other than Stephen King called The Long Walk. I like this dystopian survival thriller way more than most people, I think. 3rd on my list from the past year, then, that hit late December release about a Neil Diamond tribute act starring Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson. Yeah, Song Sung Blue, despite its second half being a bit of a downer, was really, really good. My second favorite movie of 2025 was a whole lot of fun for this horror fan, with a cast headed by Julie Garner, Josh Brolin, and the aforementioned Amy Madigan, Weapons, in which 17 children from the same classroom mysteriously run away on the same night at the same time. It's really a fun ride. It's streaming on a few different platforms, so be sure to find and check out Weapons. My favorite 2025 flick, well, don't be scared away by the plot. It follows 2 young men who kidnap a powerful female CEO, the great Emma Stone, suspecting that she is secretly an alien who wants to destroy Earth. I kid you not. The movie is Begonia, and it's a dark comedy thriller that is really, really a treat. It's streaming on Peacock, and yeah, it is my favorite film of the past year. So here, once again, another look at my personal favorite movies of 2025. A bunch of pretty solid, entertaining flicks. Now, let's see how all of these movies and others do when the trophies are handed out at the 98th Academy Awards on March 15th. Thanks for watching, and please hit that like button. And if you're a fan of movies, music, and other fun stuff, be sure to subscribe to my Random Chet YouTube channel. See you at the multiplex. Did you take lots of notes, Bill? Come on, I know you watched. You took notes. You're horrible. You are horrible.
Man, I tell you what, you talk about 7 minutes of your life you'll never get back.
6.5 minutes. Six and a half
minutes of your life you'll never get back. Holy cow.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
So,
well,
Bill,
you know what? I'm going with PJ over here. Let me get that on there. I didn't get to see this yet, but where'd it go? Where'd it go?
I got it right here. There you go.
There you go. The Phillies.
Yeah, it was very good. I did DVR it. I watched it. It was excellent. I can't speak highly enough about that or The Miracle, The Boys of 80. Two great things the last couple of weekends. Both terrific. And yeah, you got to get to see that ESPN thing. I hope they show it again for you, Bill. It was really, really good.
They did actually have it on again. My hours aren't actually working out all that well for me these days. But and speaking of that, there's a new one coming out, Chet. The Palestra. It's going to be a 30 for 30. The history of the Palestra. This is the 100th year of the Palestra. And if you remember the 30-30, if you watched it, the Catholics versus Convicts, the Miami Notre Dame one years ago, same crew is doing the Palestra. So looking forward to that. That should be a lot of fun.
I love Robbie Ellis. Thank you, Robbie.
Well, I love Robbie. I love Robbie too, but not much the subject on that one.
So you did not see 93 movies last year, I guess, Bill.
No. Hey, but I'm going to see 93 baseball games. Matter of fact, probably going to see 162 plus. And what could be a better way of doing it than tailgating with the best tailgaters in Philadelphia, Bob Cavanaugh and the gang of Cavs Philly Tailgates.
You're talking about these guys right here, Cavs Philly Tailgates, who has been cooking up a terrific catering business for some 35 years. Cavs is a 3-time winner of Philly Tailgates Jack Daniels Great American Tailgate Party Contest and a past winner of the Philly Daily News Tailgate Award. Cavs also does corporate events, parties, you name it. But yeah, they're best known for their tailgates before Philly sporting events, and they have more of them coming up. No Eagles games, of course, till September, so no Eagles tailgates, but there will be a Phillies tailgate before the home opener, March 26th, and another before a Phil's Guardians game in May, and then one before the Morgan Wallen concert on August 1st also. Get details on those and other events at Cavs' website. PhillyTailgates.com is the website, and if you have questions, you can email them at CavsCatering@Verizon.net. Cavs Philly Tailgates is the way to go.
Yes, it is. Hey, Chet, we made our final picks of the year with the Super Bowl. How did we do with the big game? And we already know the final standings, but I'm going to give you a chance to show off just one more time. You got to make up for that 6.5 minutes. Oh, wow.
Well, fortunately, Bill, I went into the weekend with a 2-game lead because I did not make the correct pick with my Super Bowl prediction. I went with the Patriots, and for some unknown reason, I did that. Boop also took the Pats. So here's how the final numbers look. You actually, even though you said you were rooting for the Patriots, you picked Seattle. So you picked the winner. You were the only one who got the winner in the Super Bowl. But I did have that 2-game lead. So I went 9-4 in the postseason. You went 8-5. Boop, a pedestrian, 6-7. So I will gladly wear the crown for the entire offseason.
Okay. We'll give you your 1 second to gloat on that. Hey, we're going to come back to the Eagles in just a minute, but hey, we had a great guest tonight named Fadool. Who's coming to Philly Pressbox Radio next week?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Bill, and I'm going to hope to find a picture of our next guest. I do. I got it. Next week, Bill, we are going to talk lots of Phillies and Eagles with a guy who has spent a lot of years covering both teams in various capacities. He is currently with NJ.com, and he has been with us numerous times over the years. Bob Brookover, joining us live next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Philly Pressbox Radio.
Looking forward to that. Brookie's always good.
Yep.
Hey, Chet, the Eagles hired another young coach to head up the O-line room, and Chris Cooper that Amy mentioned earlier. Safe to say it's going to be a new look of offense. It's going to be offensive schemes are going to be different. They've allowed Sean Mannion to hire his own O-line coach and some others. That's going to be different as well. By the way, Kevin Fadool got hired today as the passing game coordinator of the Miami Dolphins.
I did not hear that. Well, good for him.
Right. Hey,
I'm glad they didn't keep him in Philly because that would have just been awkward. So there was talk that they might keep him on the staff somehow, but no, that's not good. So glad he got a job somewhere else. Best wishes to him.
Yeah, but hey, before we talk about the hiring of Chris Cooper, I got to ask you, what do you think Eagles fans would be doing this week if Drake May and Josh McDaniels put on that offensive show for the Birds in the Super Bowl?
It was kind of ugly. It was not exactly a memorable offensive performance by either quarterback. If Seattle didn't have the running back Edwards, man, it would have been really pathetic. So, yeah, not the best offensive showing by either team. A little bit sloppy, but the ratings were good. People watched, and Seattle certainly the better team on that night and deserved to win. But, yeah, the quarterback played not exactly top-notch.
Yeah, I mean, you, for one, along with some of your people here that watch this show, want to crucify Jalen Hurts for winning a Super Bowl. How would you feel about Drake May?
Don't be twisting my words.
Well, I mean, it's the truth. They're your words. It's the truth. We could go back and rehash that a number of times if you'd like.
Yeah,
but
check the tapes.
Drake May, man, he played like a 22, 23-year-old. Seattle was all over him. Seattle defense was outstanding, almost like they knew what was coming. Yeah. And, their offense did enough to get them down the field to kick field goals, and then their defense made plays, and nice win by Seattle. They played well.
6 sacks of Drake May by the Seattle defense. So that the dark side or whatever they're calling themselves, and, the whole 12th man thing, it paid off for them. They definitely had more people in the stands. The defense was terrific. And Drake May just looked a little unprepared or just not ready for the big game quite yet. But, a lot of people wonder, well, maybe they can take a step further next year. I don't think so. They're going to have a much tougher schedule next year. Right. Everybody's going to, watch them and have, all the film to watch. I think they're going to take a step back next year, not move forward.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on what they do in the offseason. If they get some more weapons, do some more things. But what happens is when you see a guy like Drake May, he didn't look any different than Patrick Mahomes did last year when the Eagles just wouldn't get off. Yeah, that's
true.
I mean, if you don't block, you don't win. It's that simple. And Mahomes wouldn't set his feet against the Eagles, and May didn't set his feet one time against Seattle either. And if you don't block, you don't win. And they certainly got beat up.
Yeah, they did. So another Super Bowl in the books. Going to be interesting to see how Seattle does next year. I believe they are already the early favorite to repeat next year because, I mean, that is often the case.
Young team. They're a young team.
Yeah, but there's a long off season, and anything could happen between now and September as far as player moves, the free agent stuff, trades, the draft, of course. So long way till September.
Well, we don't even know what we're doing with our own team. So Chris Cooper, as we said, is taking over for Jeff Stoutland. Cooper comes highly regarded, as does Mannion. So as we said, it's going to be a whole different look, I think, on this offensive side of the ball, scheme-wise. And they wouldn't be coming in here, I don't think, with this whole different group if they're going to run Nick Sirianni's offense. They're coming in with that whole West Coast, whatever they're calling that, Sean McVay,
Yeah, they have to change it up.
They're going to change it up, and change up might be good in this case, even if it does mean it's Stoutland left.
The more I'm thinking about it, the more I think A.J. Brown will be back. There was a lot of talk of trading him, but they're still going to have a big cap hit if they trade him, even if it's after June 1st. I think they will have A.J. Brown back and hopefully get him more involved in the offense under the new offensive scheme that we both think we will see from the Eagles next year.
Yeah, I think it's going to be kind of fun to watch. I hope A.J. Brown is back because I love the night they traded for him. But he's just got to get back with the team. He's got to get away from all the, as Nick Saban says, get away from the rat poison, all that outside noise, and get inside the building and win football games. And don't play media games, play football games.
Yeah. It sounds good in theory, but he gets frustrated and then he says, I got to post something on Twitter, so hopefully he'll stay off of that and be a good guy in the locker room and, get back to just trying to play hard and get a bunch of W's.
Absolutely. And as Amy mentioned, I think, Lane Johnson coming back, I feel pretty certain that's going to happen. Lane, I think Lane's an interesting case that, Chad, he's probably close to a Hall of Fame player, but missing long periods of time is not good for your Hall of Fame resume. And if he were to pack it in, he might be a borderline Hall of Famer instead of a true Hall of Famer.
I think he is still a Hall of Famer, and I do hope he comes back for another season, although I could understand, if he didn't. He's taken a beating for a lot of years, and the last couple of years he's missed more games. So the older you get, the tougher it is. We know that, and we don't even play football.
14 years in those trenches is not an easy place to make a living.
Yeah, and of course, we got to worry about all the free agents. We'll talk more about that going forward, but a lot of unrestricted free agents that Howie has to deal with. So going to be an interesting February, March, April around Eagles Nation.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to put this one off to the media a little bit about maybe Landon Dickerson doesn't come back. I don't think that's the case at all. Landon Dickerson was hurt, and he was hurt all season. He was hurt from camp on all season long, and it was a short off season to begin with. He needs to get healthy. But I expect to see a really good Landon Dickerson come back next year.
Yeah, I think it was Jeff McClain who put it out there that Dickerson was considering an early retirement, but I hope that's not the case. He's just 27. He's got a lot of years left, and he just got to get healthy and clear his mind and come back and be ready to go this summer.
I think you couldn't find a guy on an NFL roster that doesn't think about retiring after 24 weeks, of camp and play. Well, and not even the playoffs, just the regular season. It's just a brutal way to make a living, but they get paid well for it. They're entertaining, and we like it.
Bill, I mentioned, as PJ did, and you, the ESPN 30 for 30, the Philly special. It was terrific. Make sure you watch that. That was really good. And when you said there was another show coming on that you might want to see about the Palestra, I thought you were going a different route. Debuting on Prime Video on Thursday is a 4-part series about the old American Basketball Association, for which Dr. J. Julius Irving is one of the producers. It's called Soul Power, the Legend of the American Basketball Association. And it'll feature legends like Dr. J, Moses Malone, George Gervin, even Larry Brown, and highlighting the league's influence on the modern NBA. So I'm looking forward to that. I believe all 4 episodes drop at once tomorrow, Thursday. So I look forward to checking it out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. When I saw a little trailer for that, and some of the guys that played in that league, you forget about George McGinnis, Dan Issel, guys that were great players. Connie Hawkins,
Artis Gilmore.
There was the guys that ended up being NBA greats were ABA talent coming right out of school, and they were really good. It's going to be fun to watch.
It is. Hey, when I was talking about the birthdays earlier, I forgot one other one. The legendary Tina Louise of Gilligan's Island, the only surviving member of Gilligan's Island. She's in the middle, 92 years young today. Tina Louise is 92. She doesn't look quite the same as she did back in 1967, by the way.
No, I don't think so. Hey, and I have to give a shout out to the oldest son. Billy Furman's birthday was Monday as well. So we have that one to put in there too.
Wrap it up, Bill.
What else you got? Anything else? No
I
tidbits?
got nothing else.
All right. Let's thank tonight's special guest, Amy Fadool. Our sponsors, the Irish Rover Station House, Cavs Philly Tailgates, PPCC 118 Raz Room. For Jim, Chet, Chesko, this is Bill Furman. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll join Philly Press Box Radio next Wednesday, February the 18th at 7 p.m. You can see us live on Facebook, on our Philly Press Box Radio YouTube channel, and on the STT Sports Network YouTube channel. Listen on Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and all the others. High hopes, Philadelphia sports fans.
Oh, that's my cue to wrap it up. Okay.
Wrap it up.
I was going to play a different video and it's not there. So in that case, I will go with simply, let's go with this one.